Speedrunning is a really fun thing to both do and watch, and one of the first and hardest questions that's going to come up if you ever try to speedrun is what game are you going to speedrun? So let's take a look at some of the games that I think are the best for speedrunning. Super Mario World. Yeah, that's right. I started this video the exact same way as the last one. So of course, Super Mario World is an amazing game, and if you've ever seen speedrunning, you've probably seen Super Mario World. One of the things that makes this game so fun to speedrun, on top of the fact that it's just a good game, is the amount of categories it has. 80% of course consists of a lot of cape flying and going to Star World to skip a lot of the levels, which is a fun run to watch and play. Well, if that's too annoying to you, how about the no cape, no Star World category? Yeah, take that 80%. There's also 96 exit, all castles no cape, 11 exit, small only, and 0 exit. But if you think these categories are still all too popular and too optimized, you could always check out Speedrunning, the large amount of ROM hacks for this game. Kaizo Mario is one of the most popular ROM hacks of course, and even it has 80% and 100% categories for you to choose from, so I'd say it's a great speed game overall. But if for some reason you're a huge Mario fan and you hate Super Mario World, then Super Mario Bros. 3 is another good speedrun game. This game has a lot of categories as well, and the amount of cool tricks in the speedrun is impressive and always fun to watch at AGDQ. The Super Mario Bros. Wii games, they're also fun to speedrun in my opinion for the same reasons. But enough of this Mario guy, I'm sick of hearing about him. We're talking about speedruns, and there's a much faster Mario-like guy that has his own platforming games that are fun to speedrun. Sonic 2 is one of the most popular original Sonic games, and of course it's a really good speed game. You know, with Sonic being fast and all. The run for this is very entertaining, but for some reason, all gyms % only has 2 entries. So if you see me up there in 3rd place with a 6-hour run in the next few days, just know I'm gonna be polishing my bronze trophy. Sonic Adventure is also a really popular speed game and has a ton of categories as well. You can choose between speedrunning the individual stories or all of them at once, and while I've never actually played Sonic Adventure, I plan to do so in the future, so I'll let you guys know how that goes. But enough hearing about Mario and Sonic. We gotta change the topic before this video turns into an Olympic sporting event. So let's get into my main channel trope in one of the most popular speedrunning franchises of all time, Mega Man. So before I get into why Mega Man has a bunch of really good speed games, let me clarify that this isn't just a bunch of games that I like and that are speedran. I'm basing these off of a variety of things, some of which being the length of the run, how optimized it already is, how fun the run is, and whether or not the game has fun speedrunning strats, which Mega Man has a lot of. The Mega Man X trilogy on the Super Nintendo are not only some of the best platformer games of all time, like I talked about in my last video, but also some of the best speed games too. Not only are they just very solid games that require a lot of very precise controls to get perfect runs, but they're also extremely fun games and replayable no matter how many times you try and fail to speedrun them. Trust me, I've tried to speedrun all the Mega Man X games at one point or another, and they're all really fun. But I actually prefer the NES Mega Man games when it comes to speedrunning. The later Mega Man NES games are more straightforward in their speedruns, with it mostly being very well planned out routes on top of precise and intense platforming, and those are all fun to play and watch. But my favorite of the Mega Man games to speedrun are Mega Man 1 and 2. I've speedran both of these games before, and I've had pretty decent times, but they're fun because they have much more speedrun strats than any of the other Mega Man games. Mega Man 1 is actually full of glitches to the point where the game is practically broken and you can even skip stages. Surprisingly, that doesn't take away from the fact that the game is still incredibly fun, and the glitches are not only difficult to pull off, but you also get back into gameplay really fast, so you end up not getting bored and skipping the whole game. But if that's still too many glitches for you, then Mega Man 2 is probably perfect. I have a review of this game where I talk about some of the glitches more in detail, but the Mega Man 2 speedruns all need certain glitches for the skips to be pulled off unless you're running glitchless %. Most of these glitches are just shoving Mega Man into a ceiling until the ceiling barfs him back out somewhere else further down the level, and since these glitches are really fast and they just quickly put you further into the level, I think they're really fun and make speedrunning Mega Man 2 a blast. Of course, these games are very popular, so attempting to get the world record is going to be hard, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't be fun to try, and the task is still minutes ahead of the world record, so there's still a chance, guys. But enough talking about platforming games. There are also a lot of really fun first-person games that are super fun to speedrun that I think just get neglected due to the popularity of speedrunning platformer games. The original Portal is a classic puzzle game that also happens to be an amazingly fun speed game. This is another game with multiple categories, one being no out of bounds, meaning no going outside of the map to glitch, another category being no glitching, and of course, any %. Every single one of these categories are surprisingly fun to play, even as a casual Portal fan, just because you learn so much when you start to learn the routing of the runs. The no out of bounds % might sound like it would be more boring than the out of bounds one, but there are still a ton of really cool tricks you can do to skip certain areas and save a ton of time that you couldn't have possibly thought of the first time you played Portal. That's another thing I take into consideration when putting speed games into this video. If a game is already amazing, and learning the speedrun for it is not only also fun, but shows you new things about the game you didn't know how to do beforehand, then I think it automatically makes for a good speedrunning game. Of course, Super Metroid is a great example of this with the mock ball and wall jumping tactics you can use in the game to skip large areas and sequence break multiple sections, which is something that I've always loved about speedrunning in general. But we're talking about first person games, so one I've been looking into recently is Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner is one of the coolest games I've ever played, and I made a video on it recently if you want to check it out. But with the amazing mechanics this game has to offer, it's practically asking to be speedran. This game already gets more and more fun the more you play because mastering the controls feels extremely rewarding, so learning the speedrun of the game and slashing through the enemies like nothing is an amazing experience, especially after taking several hours on the first playthrough. Not to mention, if you're too lazy to just learn the speedrun strats or you just aren't that interested, you could always watch the Ghost Runner speedrun because it's insanely impressive to watch. An obscure FPS speedrun that I really enjoy though are all of the Black Ops Zombies Easter egg speedruns. These speedruns are a lot different than regular speedruns a lot of times because not only do some of these require 4 players, but it's also really RNG based. There are tons of speedruns to look at, so I'll just talk about a couple of my favorites, which are Die Rise, Origins, and the new Call of Duty Cold War map. Die Rise is really fun because it's simple and the world record is like just over 5 minutes, which is insane. The Origins Easter egg speedrun is really cool because you can do it solo or 4 players and it's just a big adventure. There's a lot of steps you have to do, but I feel like a lot of the time can be shaved down if someone decided to commit to getting the world record, and doing Black Ops Zombie Easter eggs is already fun. The new Cold War Zombies map though surprisingly already has a really interesting speedrunning scene. The Easter egg as of right now could be finished in 19 minutes, which is partially due to a couple of glitches, but also really good RNG and efficient gameplay. The 19-minute world record is for 4 players, but you could also do it solo where the world record is around 22 minutes, I believe. Both of these speedruns are amazing to watch and make me want to personally try it, and I might actually make a video in the near future attempting to speedrun the Easter egg and maybe even going for world record, who knows. But at the end of the day, the genre of the game doesn't really matter. The whole point of speedrunning is to speedrun a game that you want to. Minecraft is the perfect example of this. Despite Minecraft being one of the most objectiveless, open world, and RNG filled games, there is still an extremely active speedrunning community for it and a surprisingly fun run too. Well, at least if you get good RNG. Obviously, part of this has to do with the fact that Minecraft is literally the most popular game in the world, so of course anything to do with it will probably be popular. But even games that you wouldn't think would be fun to speedrun like RPGs or even Undertale are all extremely fun to speedrun and have large communities surrounding it also. BattleBlock Theater is another unexpected one that is both fun to play and watch, as well as having a really welcoming community too. While this video is about what I think are the best games for speedrunning, at the end of the day it's up to you. The whole point of speedrunning is finding a game that you really like or are really good at and practicing at the game over and over until you're the best in the world, and there really is almost nothing like it. Speedrunning is a really fun hobby to get into, and if you've never speedrun anything before in your entire life, I highly recommend you pick up a game that you really like or are really good at and try to speedrun it at least once. Well, unless the game you want to speedrun is Cookie Clicker, in which case go ahead and quit now while you're ahead.